Hiya!
Hello.
Welcome to the Geeky Girls Knit podcast. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Dammy, also known as Dammy's Doodles.
And we're glad to have you today. Today is not Thursday. It is Friday, the 7th of June, 2019, and this is episode 348. We'd like to say a big welcome back. We love you guys, to all our returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. We hope you enjoy the show. Dammy, someone introduced themselves this week in our group. Why don't you give them a shout out and then tell other people what they should do?
It is Mary Beth, who is Mary Beth 1199 from Virginia.
Welcome.
And if you are not a member of our Ravelry group, you should join and introduce yourself in our introductions thread, because you'll get a shout out on our next episode and you'll be able to participate in all our owls and giveaways.
That's right. Dammy, I'm trying to remember when the last time we recorded in the same room was.
March.
Did we do it during spring break?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking it was during Christmas break. But no, you were home for like 10 days for spring break or something. Okay. So it's been a good 2.5-ish plus months since we have recorded in the same room. And can I tell you how excited I am, because it's going to make editing this episode so much easier. I opened iMovie, which is where I edit our podcasts, and I was showing Dammy the file from last week. Yeah. I had to edit a lot. Technology, gotta love it. But we're in the same room for the next 4 months, almost 4 months. So, we're very excited to be here. Or I am, at least. Are you very excited to be here?
Yes.
She's still recovering from finals. Okay, well, we have quite a bit to talk about today, so we should probably get started. Here we go.
And now we're going to talk about what is on our needles.
So what's on your needles, Dammy?
I'm back on the Straightforward Mitts, which is a pattern by Mona Drager on US 3's 3.25mm needles, and the yarn is Penguin Soup and Bursock in the Baker colorway. I knit some rows last night.
You're just so used to not showing it that you forgot to bring it in here.
I'm too lazy to get up. I'm comfy.
Well, and she's got a blanket wrapped around her because it had gotten warmer, and then all of a sudden today it's a lot cooler, and then we had this really weird rainstorm, and so. But you did one more project for Theater Design Right since the last time we talked.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us what you did? Because I know we talked about what the project was and you hadn't decided what to do yet.
I had to make a prop for my high pink, my final for theater design. So I did a scale model of the portrait of Dorian Gray from the picture of Dorian Gray as it would appear at the beginning of a stage production.
Cool.
More or less. But I didn't have oil paints. I used watercolor markers, and
then you framed it using cardboard and painted the cardboard?
I did not paint the cardboard.
Oh, I thought you were going to.
I didn't have time.
Oops.
And cardboard was tricky.
Oh. Yeah. You probably should have cut the cardboard first and then done the image inside to match the frame. But anyway, it worked out. You turned it in. You're done. You successfully completed your freshman year of college.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel?
Tired.
What are you going to do next?
More.
But not for 4 months.
Work.
Yep. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about, Dammy?
No. So what's on your needles?
Well, I'm not starting with my usual thing, Dammy. Nope. Stay tuned. What I am working on is, if you know my friend Mel, don't tell her. This is a surprise. I'm working on a pair of socks for her birthday. This is my French Vanilla Cappuccino sock pattern. I'm on US 1.5, 2.5 mil needles, and this yarn is from Allen Yarn Shop, which is about half an hour, 45 minutes from here. It's Kalispell sock in the Outland colorway. And I'm wondering if she was inspired by Outlander to do this colorway. It's got browns and yellows and blues and greens. So first sock is done. Second sock, I'm almost to the heel. So I am working on that. I got in some work on my summer top, which is a pattern by Inkstrict. Is that how you would say that, Dammy? I never know how to say it.
Angstlik.
Okay, we'll go with that. On US 3s, 3.25 mil, and US 4s, 3.5 mil needles. And the yarn is Plymouth Yarn Linaza hand dyed in the number 4 mauve pink orange colorway.
Mauve.
So I'm getting really close to separating the sleeves. So, not very long now until I do that. So, I'm enjoying knitting with this yarn. And it's really very pretty. So, and then the other thing that I'm working on is not a knitting project. It is a stitching project. I have picked back up my English paper piecing project. So I did these 2 hexagons yesterday. So the gray is the center. And you may have seen this fabric already. If you're new here, I'm hand stitching ouch, I almost pooped myself. Okay, there we go. I am stitching a quilt using these 2-inch hexagons, which I just ordered some more yesterday of the cardboard. And what I'm doing is they all have this gray as the center. And then I'm doing 2 larger shapes using the same fabric. So I've already done one that had this orange with hearts directly around the gray, and then the brown with leaves around the outside, except for top and bottom has lavender. So now this one will be obviously the gray center. It'll have the brown with leaves around the gray, and then it will have the orange with hearts on the outside with the 2 lavender top and bottom. So my goal is just to stitch 1 hexagon a day and sew it to the other hexagons to keep it going. So when I finish this one, I will have 4 of the larger shapes finished. I'm looking down because they're in a long
Container.
Well, I say rubber container, but it's not like a huge one. It's just maybe about that tall. So I'll have, when I finish this one, I'll have 4 done, and I'm hoping then I can kind of lay it out and then do some measurements to see, maybe to be able to figure out how many of the bigger shapes I'm going to need for the quilt. So I picked that back up and I'm working on it. But that means, you guys, I have some finished projects, and I have one epic one.
And now we're going to talk about her finished projects.
That's right. I have 3 this week. First up is birthday socks for my bestie's husband, Jeremy. His birthday was actually last week, but I didn't finish them on time, and I still got to ship them to England, but I will get that done hopefully this next week. This is my French vanilla cappuccino sock pattern. I did these on US 1.5s, 2.5 mil needles, and the main color of yarn, that's a little more true, like right there, is Abstract Fiber Super Sock Plus in the Summit colorway, and then the toes, heels, and cuffs is Malabrigo yarn sock in the Fresco y Seco colorway. He has very long feet, so those are finished and blocked. And then I have this week's preemie hat. This is number 22 for the year, using my free top-down preemie hat pattern that you can get on Ravelry. It's on US 6's 4 mil needles, and the purple yarn is Lion Brand Heartland in the Springs colorway. And then I held together a strand of Neighborhood Fiber Co. Rustic Fingering Gradients in the shades of fuchsia colorways. I held color A and color D together for the stripe. And then I just love just that detail of edging using the same colors. So there's that. I'm still knitting these hats for Clip for Babies, so they have to be at least 50% purple. So there is that. And then after 4 years and 2 months, that's a long time, Dammy, I finished my When You Think I'll Zig, I'll Zag. Then when you think I'm gonna zag, I do zag, just to mess you up for the next time when I might zig blanket. Yes, that is a Gilmore Girls quote.
Pink doesn't care.
Pink doesn't care. She's
She's
taking a nap. So this is the 10-stitch zigzag pattern by Frankie Brown. I used US Force 3.5 mil needles, and the final stripe, number 70, used Abstract Fiber Super Sock Plus in the Thistle colorway. You guys, are you ready for this? It took 10,274.5 yards of yarn, 9,394.2 meters. That is more than, how many miles did I say it was?
5 point something.
Yeah. So that, and it's also more meters than Mount Everest is tall.
You could have just said taller than Mount Everest.
So this is, you guys, I'm just still kind of in shock that it's finished, because I worked on it almost every day over the last 4 years and 2 months. I took a break when we moved back over here from Scotland, and there were days here and there, but I worked on it pretty continuously for 4 years and 2 months, and I'm finished with it. And I'm so excited. It's already on our bed. I'm enjoying sleeping under it and being like, oh, look at this amazingness that I made. So
What does Pink think of it?
Pink likes it.
She tried to biscuit it.
She did, and she did okay. She didn't destroy it or anything, so I think we're good. I think she senses how special it is. So, and it's soft, so she's enjoying laying on it. So with those 3 projects for Stash Dash 2019, I am currently at 10,136.7 meters complete. So to get to my tentative goal is 15,000. So I currently need 4,863.3 meters to finish at 15,000. So I've got Mel's socks. I have the weekly preemie hats. I have the summer top. I am planning to cast on a new sock design sometime in the next few weeks. So that yardage there, and potentially get cast on my pom pop shawl, because I want it to be ready to wear in the autumn. So I don't know if all those things will get me to 15,000. I'm trying to remember. Hold on, let me see if I have it in here. I don't remember if I printed all the pages or not for my summer top. No, but I think I've got it on my phone here. It says it should take around 1,150 meters. So that'll do a good chunk into it. So we'll see. I am just, like, my goal for this Stash Dash was just to finish my zigzag blanket. And I've accomplished that. And I think it's amazing that I've got that accomplishment done. No, I'm not casting on another sock yarn blanket. No. I am going to work on my English paper piecing, which does not count for Stash Dash, which is fine. And just work on knitting some other things that I've been wanting to knit, and yeah. So that is where I stand for Stash Dash. That is where I stand with my zigzag blanket being off the needles. Finally. Yeah. I think we're ready now to move on to the next segment. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Yummies. What are yummies, Dammy?
Yummies are our current favorite things we like, things we want to talk to you about.
Yummies. So I went last week to the My Favorite Murder event at Barnes & Noble. It was Sit Crooked and Talk Straight. So it was pretty much a party, a fan party for the release of Karen and Georgia's Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered book that just came out. And they gave us Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered badges. They also gave us Take the Quiz. Would you like to take the quiz to see if you're a Georgia or Karen?
Not right now. We have Pom Pom to review.
Okay. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4. It's, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 7 questions. While I'm talking, why don't you do it in your head?
Oh my gosh.
So, but let me tell you, I'm a Karen, which means I've got a tough exterior with a soft soul. I could watch reruns of I Survived all day. I have never watched that show, though. And I'm sometimes shocked that I didn't end up in a cult. Potentially. But I did have some of Georgia in me, especially with the cats. Oh, let me show them this side. And then they also created a Spotify playlist. So if you search for Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered on Spotify, there's a playlist of songs. I listened to it the other day. And what else did we do at the event? We told hometown murder stories and just chatted. And I was like worried that I was like going to be the only one. But there was like 20 of us. So that was kind of cool. And I wore my, well, y'all saw in last week's episode, I was wearing it, my Murderino shirt because I went that night after we recorded. I wore my Murderino shirt from Nerdy Knits and Designs, and I wore my Ann Tudor LLC Elvis Want a Cookie glass stitch markers. What are you?
Apparently I'm Georgia.
Georgia. We can't say the word.
Flippin' hooray.
Flippin' hooray, but that's not the word. You love yourself some vintage dresses, therapy, and the subtle chirps of kittens. You do. Sure. So that was fun to go to that. Speaking of My Favorite Murder, I posted this on social media, but I will tell y'all this too. So when I decided to do a My Favorite Murder pattern, I knew I wanted to donate a portion of the proceeds to Into the Backlog, which is an organization that is helping states work through the backlog of rape test kits that are just sitting on shelves in warehouses. And there's too many of them, and it's very sad because there's all this evidence that potentially could put some people behind bars that need to be there. So what I decided to do is I was going to donate 20% of the proceeds of the My Favorite Murder Mystery Wrap kits, as well as 20% of the proceeds from the My Favorite Murder Mystery Wrap individual patterns that are purchased. So I, this week, made the donation for all of the kits plus the patterns that were sold in May. And that ended up being a $313.80 donation to In the Backlog. So I just want to, again, I posted this on social media and such, but I want to say this here too. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who is supporting not only me, but also, Diane and Anne and Amanda, as well as supporting an organization that just means a lot to me. So thank you so much to everybody. If you have not purchased the pattern yet and you would like to, it's available on Ravelry. And as we're recording this, Clue 2 comes out in less than an hour and a half. So when you see this, Clue 2 will have already been released, but it's never too late to start. It is a rectangular wrap knit in 2 pieces concurrently that will be then
Grafted.
It's the 3-needle bind off actually, so it's not technically grafted, but 3-needle bind off in the middle to join it. And each section has 1 to 2 design elements with a divider. And the design elements have in the pattern the episode that it came from, the quote or whatever came from, so that you can listen along to the podcast if you would like as you knit. And hopefully not too many people hate me, jokingly saying this, for the epically long I-cord cast on that you had to do to start your project. So, but I've been seeing them being worked on social media and on Ravelry and everything, and I'm just loving seeing y'all knitting up yeah, it's amazing. So thank you. Dammy, Carlene, who is Carlene Page on Ravelry, contacted me and asked if she could send a couple of prize donations our way. And I was like, of course you can. And so you'll see one of those donations in the Summertime and the Living is Easy owl, because we added one to that. And then the other donation we put in our prize box to use in a future giveaway. But she also sent us these adorable Nico Atsume kitty pins. So this one's Tubbs. I don't remember what this one's name is. Snowball. And so Dammy's taking Tubbs, and I'm taking Snowball. So
7 deadly sins. Tubbs is gluttony.
What is Snowball? Love? Pride. Wrath. You heard it here first. I'm a little terrified. So thank you so much to Carlene for the sweet note and the prize donations and these adorable kitty pins. I can't wait to put mine on my board above my desk. Dammy, do we have any other yummies?
Nah.
You're home.
Yeah.
You finished your freshman year of college.
Yeah.
You survived through 3 epically intense classes your spring term.
Did I?
You did. You made it. Have you gotten grades yet?
No.
When do grades come out?
10 days.
From today?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when they're due by.
Oh, okay. Some professors will upload them sooner, though.
Yes. But please don't ask me every day if I've gotten grades.
I won't ask you every day, but have any of them done it?
No.
Okay. But, fingers crossed.
Technically, the quarter isn't over because commencement was today.
I saw the ivy cutting on Instagram. It's a tradition that they have at SPU. Spoo. I forgot what I was going to say. Fingers crossed that you'll be on the dean's list again this quarter like you were for your first 2. I think she will. You're an amazing student. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think there's any other yummy, so let's talk about hashtag GGK Crafty Pad. What is it, Dammy?
It stands for Geeky Girls Knit and Crafty Photo a Day Challenge. We have a list of photo prompts for each month. So you take a look at the prompt for that day, take a picture related to it, and post it anywhere you like. But we pick our favorites from Instagram. How dare you?
You're crazy. So, June's theme is Summertime and the Living is Easy.
Sideways.
To coordinate with our Summertime Owl that we have going on that we'll talk about in a few minutes. So the prompts, for the most part, are related to the lyrics from the song. So what are we about to show them, Dammy?
2 photos from us that we liked and 5 photos from other people that we liked.
Here come the photos. Great job, everybody. It's never too late to join in. Look at the prompt for the day. Do you know what today's prompt is?
No.
Well, it's a good thing it's on our Google Calendar, so I can just look right here on my phone.
Je ne sais pas.
Swipe. It's sky.
Sky.
Sky. The sky's the limit. You interpret it however you want. So you could literally go take a picture of the sky. You can do sky-colored yarn.
Take a picture of your cat named Sky.
The sky's the limit. Whatever.
You want to be an astronaut?
Okay. You interpret it however you wish. We are very cheater-friendly on
But
this.
if the sky's the limit, what if I want to be an astronaut? You can't go past the sky.
You take a picture, post it on Instagram, make sure in your caption you use hashtag GGKCraftyPad, and yours might get chosen. If you are participating in GGK Crafty Pad and you have a private Instagram account, you need to message Dammy, who is Dammy's Doodles, to make sure she's following you. Otherwise, we can't see your pictures. You can also feel free to include hashtag GGK Kitty Pad, hashtag GGK Puggy Pad, and hashtag GGK Puppy Pad, because those are all relevant hashtags that have been created. And if you've created another hashtag to go along with it, let me know. We'll put it in the lineup and talk about it. So, okay, upcoming events. Do you have any?
No.
Well, you're going with me, I assume, to Knitting in the Park. We're having a table there. To sell books?
Sure.
Yes.
I didn't remember this.
Yes. It is on Sunday, the 14th of July.
Okay.
You won't be working. You're off on Sundays.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be there. We'll have a table. We'll have all 3 of our books available for purchase, which include the digital download code. So that's awesome. I will be going to the Fall Pacific Northwest Yarn Crawl, which is the first weekend of October. And then I'm going to a local knitting retreat on Saturday, the 9th of November. So, those are the events that I know of at the moment. So I think that's everything for Yummies. So why don't we move on to the next segment?
And now we're going to talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to.
So what are you reading, Dammy?
I am still reading Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I haven't gotten very far. Like, I know everything that happens, so I still haven't gotten very far.
And we're going to talk about it again later in this segment. What else are you reading?
The Glass Scientists, which is a webcomic by Sabrina Katungo.
Awesome. So, are you getting 15 minutes a day in?
More or less.
Okay.
I've been reading pattern, too.
Yep. So, what am I referencing?
The April, May, June round.
Which is a challenge for you to read 15 minutes a day, every day. There is a quarterly along, the April, May, June along, and then you will get entries into the year-long along by participating in the quarterly along. Along. And there's ways to earn bonus entries. All the details are in the show notes and in the Ravelry groups. At the beginning of 2020, we will draw for 3 grand prize winners. So, my nonfiction stuff, I'm having to juggle around a little bit because I ended up with too many nonfiction books coming in for me at the library, including interlibrary loan ones, and so I'm shuffling things around a little bit. So I'm currently nonfiction reading Mindful Silence, The Heart of Christian Contemplation by Felina Hertz, which you'll remember that I've been reading another book by her as well. So I'm really enjoying that. Fiction-wise, I'm continuing to reread Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is the 4th book in the series by J.K. Rowling. I'm rereading it along with Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast and Swish and Flick and All Potter podcast. This week's episode chapter was the egg and the eye. So Harry taking the egg into the prefect's bathroom
Gonna have a nice bath.
Yes, with all the things. And then once he leaves and he sees Barty Crouch on the map, and he goes to find him, and then Snape in the hall and Mad-Eye Moody, who's really Barty Crouch Jr., and all that, and he took the map from him and was able to see through the invisibility cloak thing. So that's the chapter that I did this week.
What do you think of that pink?
She is being so cute. She's like,
Oh, her little face is twitching.
"Oh, are you having good dreams, baby?" Oh, her so cute. Continuing fiction-wise, I finished reading book 10 of the A Magical Cats mystery series.
How many magical cats are there?
By Sophie Kelly, I think.
Is every cat magical? Or is it
No.
just the special ones?
There's 3 of them.
3?
Yes.
3 of them.
One is a kitten.
BB.
Yes.
Does it say spay and neuter your pets?
I don't know, but there is a vet as one of the characters in the book. So,
Good.
then I read the 3rd book in the Vampire Knitting Club series, Crochet and Cauldrons, by Nancy Warren. I'm a little vexed with our library right now.
Mm-hmm.
They own 1, 2, and 3, and 5, but they don't own 4. And I asked them to either interlibrary loan it or buy it, and they wouldn't do. They couldn't do either. So I'm gonna have to purchase the book to read the 4th one in the series. Unless if anybody has a physical copy of it that they no longer want, I will pay you to send it to me, and then I'll donate it to our library after I read it. So if anybody has book 4 in the series, then they want to get rid of it, let me know. I read the 4th book in the Wolves of Mercy Falls series, Sinner by Maggie Stiefvater. It wasn't great in my opinion, because it moved the location of where it was set, and it was like a musician on a reality show who the musician is a werewolf and all these things. Last night I finished book 17 in the Anna Pigeon series by Nevada Barr. There's only 2 more. The last one released in 2016. I did some searching. I asked the interwebs. She might do another book, but she might not. She's been doing some standalone ones, so she's still writing. But I think there's 19 in the series. And then last night I also started "Give Me Your Hand" by Megan Abbott, and I've just read just a little bit in it. But I am also doing what I talked about a few weeks ago. I think. Our library is having a summer reading challenge. So if you read 10 hours as an adult, you get a carabiner water bottle. As a kid or a teen, you get your choice of a book. And then if you read 100 hours...
the Bible.
If you read 100 hours, you get a t-shirt. And just as of yesterday's hours, I have read 10 hours and 15 minutes. It's in 15-minute increments. So, I am well on track to get to my 100 before the end of summer.
I want Prometheus Unbound.
I imagine there is a set
A kid-friendly book section you choose from.
I imagine they have, I don't know for this for sure, but my guess would be they would have something like maybe a dozen different books, and you get to choose one of those. But I don't know that for sure. Okay, TV.
I want the collected works of Percy Bysshe Shelley.
I don't know who that is.
Husband to Mary Shelley.
Oh, okay. TV. I watched a couple of Hallmark movies this week. Love in the Sun and Wedding at Graceland. Wedding at Graceland was a sequel to Christmas at Graceland.
Oh.
And they actually did get married at Graceland, in the Graceland Chapel. And Priscilla Presley was in the movie. Kelly Pickler from American Idol was the lead.
Ooh.
And she sang in the show.
Well, of course.
I finished season 4 and I'm watching season 5 of Saving Hope. Season 5 is the last season.
Mm-hmm.
The Dr. Hubbs and I, last Friday, he did end up having to work on Friday, and so he and I binged the entire Good Omens miniseries. All 6 episodes, and it was so good. So funny. Dammy and I, so Dammy and I are currently watching the new BBC Les Miserables miniseries. There, that one. So once we finish watching that, then I'm going to rewatch Good Omens with Dammy, because she wants to see it, and she was not here when the Dr. Hubbs and I watched it.
How inconsiderate.
I know. Good Omens, it was so good. It's so funny. I really enjoyed it. David Tennant was amazing. Benedict Cumberbatch was the voice of Satan. If you don't know so Good Omens is based on a book by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, and it's about an angel and a demon who become BFFs, and they are trying to stop the apocalypse from happening. I know, she is very cute. You can't. You have to be on the podcast. So, I'm excited to rewatch that with Dammy. And then, do you want to say anything about Les Miserables?
A couple interesting deviations from the source material, but go off, Andrew Davies.
So it was not based on the musical.
No.
It was based on the actual text.
Yeah, no, Andrew Davies is the one who did BBC War and Peace as well.
Okay.
And so he wanted to do another full-length adaptation of the novel.
So it's 6 episodes, and we've watched the first 3.
And I've cried at every one of them.
Yeah. The little girl that's playing Cosette is just adorable.
Mm-hmm.
But there are several faces that you will recognize in it, including Olivia Colman and David Bradley.
Couple, not safe for children moments.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But it originally aired, I guess...
It must have aired after the Watershed Hour on BBC One.
Probably. The first episode was around New Year's in 2018, so before the start of the year, and then it finished, I think, in February. So, Elementary, Season 7, I've watched the first 2 episodes, but I'm not telling you, but I'm going to rewatch them with Dammy and the Dr. Hubs. They've neither one seen them. And then there'll be a new episode tonight. So, we will have 3 episodes watched that we can actually talk about next week when we podcast. I'm not spoiling anything.
You can't hide it from me by not highlighting it in the show notes.
I watched the season 4 finale of Blind Spot. Were you home yet when I watched this?
No.
Okay. So the team was framed by Madeline, and they're on the run in Iceland.
Who's Madeline?
Madeline was one of the bad people. I can't remember.
One of them.
Yeah. And a drone strike was ordered, and it hit their safe house, and Jane was outside. Is the rest of the team dead? It was a 2-part finale.
Oh.
So, we do not know. Jane may be the only surviving member of the team.
Well, that would be sad.
It would be. I don't think so. So there's tunnels underneath the safe house.
Tunnels.
So I'm hoping they went down into the tunnels. Watching season 6 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., watching season 10 of Trading Spaces. Frank Bielek was back in this week's episode, and it was so fun. I love him. He's probably my favorite designer on the show. And then I watched the season 6 finale of When Calls the Heart. So previously, and we just found out in the finale, Henry had warned the mining company about the issues in the mine, and they ignored it, which led to the collapse. And then, will Elizabeth choose Nate or Lucas?
Who?
Elizabeth.
No, who's Nate and who's Lucas?
Nate is the new Mountie, and he is the guardian of his niece, who is in school with Lizzie. And Elizabeth, I don't think she goes by Lizzie, Elizabeth. And Lucas is the new saloon owner, and he paid to have the library, a library be built, well, not built, because it was in a building that was already there, but he paid...
Established.
There we go. But he has some interesting things in his past. He was like running from somebody who that took Elizabeth hostage and she could have gotten shot and all this. So,
This is supposed to be a Hallmark show.
yes, it was a very kind hostage situation. She got out of it fine. Lucas saved her. No, actually Nate saved her, but anyway. And that's everything watching. Listening to the My Favorite Murder podcast, as always. Always listening to that. So, the Hadestown original Broadway cast recording. So, they pushed back the release date because they needed more time in post to do it. So, they had released 4 songs of it, and then 9 more dropped today, but apparently there's been an issue with getting them.
Like on some sites.
Yeah. Which through Amazon, we have not gotten them yet. And I have not gotten an email about that.
You can listen on Spotify.
Yes, but I wanted to put them on my phone. And then I think there's 3 more drop dates before the full album will all be there. 40 songs. So, but I did listen on Playbill yesterday. They released 2 more of the songs that were released today. And then what about you? You listened to that as well, I think.
Yeah.
And then what else are you listening to?
Cabin Pressure, Les Mis, the Beetlejuice original Broadway cast recording, and the Kiss Me Kate 2019 cast recording came out today. So I listened to both of them already.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I think that is...
Beetlejuice is not safe for children.
Okay.
Its DC run was even more not safe for children, but it's slightly lessened.
You'll have to tell me about this off air. And I think that is everything we're reading, watching, and listening to this week. So let's move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about our March, April, May Sheepy Spring Owl.
Which finished.
It's done, so we don't have to read off the rules or anything.
But why don't you tell us who finished projects in the final days? Day?
So, A. Bingham, Army Wife 2102, D-Door 4, Elsa and M, I Now Hour, Philippa MC, Harps 57, Jodidiah, Carleen Page, Knit Central, Knit Live Love, Knitter Chow, Little Mermaid, Moe's Crochet, Riss Strauss, Rose Bob, Smash Williams 94, and Wolf Joy.
Great job, everybody. Okay, prizes. So if you are a prize winner, you have 30 days to claim your prize or you forfeit it. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm looking. All the prizes except for one are ones that I need to mail to you. So if you are a prize winner, you need to PM me Java Pearl on Ravelry with your full name and mailing address, unless you are the winner of the pattern. If that's the case, you just need to PM me that you saw this, and I will take care of getting the pattern gifted to you. So, but again, 30 days to claim your prize, or you forfeit it. We'll use it in another situation, event, owl, something. And yeah. Okay, so you want me to read the prizes and you tell us who the winners are?
Yep.
Okay. First up, we have a floral, circular, and interchangeable needle holder made by Devon Makes, which was donated by Rhonda, who is dueling needles. And the winner is...
Number 362, I Knit Socks Too.
I used a random number, actually Siri, to draw these prizes. I asked Siri, give me a random number between 2 and whatever the last number was. And that's how I drew prize winners. Next up is a honeybee project bag and stitch marker made and donated by Teresa of Jazzy Creations on Etsy. The winner is...
399, Wolf Joy.
Next up, we have 4 leaf stitch marker sets made and donated by Julia, who is Nimrus of Pandia's Jewels. So each of these 4 winners are going to win a random set. So the winners are...
165, Share 2014. 173, VT Kimmy Kim. 223, Kristen Saby. And 127, DG White.
And then next we have a skein of online Super Sock New York color, number 1625, donated by Eileen, who is Leaner on Ravelry. The winner is...
216, Shirley Knits 123.
We have a skein of yarn, lace number 1, filigrane number 2 519, also donated by Eileen, who is leaner. The winner is
272 I Now Hour.
We have a pattern, the Strawberry Blossoms pattern, designed by Monique Leonard, who is Windswept Monique on Ravelry. The winner is
427 Panushka.
And finally, we have a spring stitch marker set from Adore Knits on Etsy, donated by Jessica, who is Silver Luna 2112, and the winner is
67 Jodadiah.
So, I Knit Socks 2, Wolfjoy, Share 2014, VT Kimmy Kim, Kristen Saby, DG White, Shirley Knits 123, I Now Hour, Panushka, and Jodadiah. I need you all to PM me Java Pearl. Congratulations. PM me Java Pearl with your full name and mailing address. Except for Panushka, I just need to know you saw this, and Monique, I'll get Monique to give the pattern to you. PM me, and I will get your prizes shipped out to you as soon as possible. Congratulations. So, that means a new owl has started, so we should move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about our June, July, August.
Summertime and the living is easy.
Owl.
Tell us about it, Dammy.
So this owl started on the 1st of June and it runs through the 31st of August, and it is for any project that you knit, crochet, weave, or spin that you can convince us is related to summer. There are a couple rules. The first is that no whips are allowed, so your project has to have been begun no earlier than the 1st of June and finished no later than the 31st of August, unless you are knitting the My Favorite Murder mystery wrap, which you can enter as long as you finish it by the 31st of August.
Yep.
And another rule is that each project of at least 20 yards that you finish and post in the FO thread counts as one entry, but if your project is not at least 20 yards, you need to group it in a single post with other projects that together total at least 20 yards.
Yes.
You can feel free to poly dip in other owls as long as it fits in with other rules. That's totally fine. We have prizes to talk about because it's the first podcast of the month.
So if you would like to donate a prize, you can PM me Java Pearl on Ravelry or email us at
geekygirlsknit@gmail.com.
That's right. Okay, you want me to start?
Sure.
Okay, so we have Audine Wools by Knit Crate, Sci DK Yarn. We have 2 skeins of Ladybug. 2 winners will each win 1 skein.
We have the Moda D Sassy Stripes DK in the crayon colorway. We have 2 skeins that were donated by Trisha, who is PAZ Scott.
We have stitch markers made and donated by Teresa, who is Jazzy Creations. This set is Knitting Diva and Made with Love.
We have a book by D. Marie Prokop, the Shorter Things collection, and a stitch marker set.
We also have another set of books by D. Marie Prokop, Tigress and On the Outward Appearance, and a stitch marker set. And then we have 2 new prizes.
The Out Tonight pattern, made and donated by Monique Leonard, Windswept Monique on Ravelry.
And a baby crochet book and a skein of double knit special by Stylecraft in the white colorway, donated by Carlene, who is Carlene Page. So thank you again to everyone who has donated prizes. We appreciate you so much. And yeah, if you'd like to donate one, let us know. What else, Dammy?
You must be a member of the Geeky Girls Knit podcast group on Ravelry in order to participate. There's a hashtag if you would like to post on social media or tag your projects. It is GGK Summertime 19. The FO thread is going to be locked on the morning of the 1st of September, and then winners will be drawn for the next podcast after that. And any winners will have 30 days to claim their prize or they forfeit it. There's a chatter thread on Ravelry where you guys can discuss the progress of your projects and where I give shoutouts to people who finish projects, but I also do that here. So, people who finished projects this week are Ddor4, Philippa MC, Jody333, Knit Central, El McCall, Shirley Knits 123, and Yellcat 2.
Great job. So keep working on your projects. You've got almost 3 full months to get them started and finished. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chatter thread or send us a message. All right, let's move on to the next segment.
And now it's time for Ask the Geeky Girls, the part of our show where you ask us things and we answer them.
Yes, what's this week's question?
So this week's question is from Alex, who is Newfie Mom 39 from Canada. I was wondering, with all the plays and musicals you attend, have you had a chance to see Come From Away? I am originally from Newfoundland, and I'm seeing the musical in August. I cannot wait. I have the soundtrack and play it every chance I get. Here's the blurb for Come From Away. Following well-received engagements on Broadway and its premier city, Toronto, this hit new musical based on true events will launch its first ever national tour in Seattle in October 2018. Nominated for 8 Tony Awards and 9 Drama Desk Gongs, this is a musical that celebrates human endurance, compassion, and bravery under dreadful circumstances. Written by Canadian husband and wife teen Irene Snackoff and David Hine, events in America on 9/11 sees the small town of Gander, Newfoundland, double in size when 38 planes are forced to land unexpectedly.
We did not see it when it was in Seattle.
No, I dumbly did not.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I should have.
Will it come back?
Maybe.
Okay.
Sometime.
Have you listened?
But, like, I have not listened to it in full. But, like, it has actors in it that I really like in the tour. And I'm like, why did I not see it?
Who?
I could have seen Megan McGinnis, who was in Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, Little Women on Broadway, and Daddy Longlegs.
Okay, and who else?
Andrew Szymanski, he was Phoebus in Hunchback.
Okay, anybody else?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, but you've listened to some songs from it.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not even know about it, so no, I have not. But thanks for the question, Alex, and we hope that you enjoy seeing it in August. You'll have to let us know how it goes. Dammy, we are in desperate times. We have no Ask the Geeky Girls questions left. So, you can ask us anything you want.
You can ask Pink anything you want.
Yes, you can even ask the Dr. Hubs questions. He has come on here and answered questions before. So anything you want to ask us.
Anything your little heart desires.
We have never said no to answering one of these questions. Now, if it's too whatever, we reserve the right to not answer it. But we have not had to do that. So, anything you want to ask. So go to Ask the Geeky Girls thread in Ravelry, post your questions, whatever, and we will answer them in the order they come in unless they're time sensitive. So.
Ask him, boy.
That's right. All right, well, let's move on to the next segment.
And now we have a review.
This is Pom Pom Quarterly Summer 2019, issue number 19, that we're going to review for you today. And the theme for this issue is ceramic tiles, terracotta, and sand. Geometric hand-painted or mosaic designs, as well as simple lines and earthy shades with splashes of blue-green glaze. They also talk about in their editor's note, that this issue is actually thicker, which we said last week when I showed that we had gotten it. And we will get to this article that they're discussing in the editor's note in a few minutes, but it surrounds the conversations about racism, diversity, and inclusion in the craft community that have been going on social media. I believe it was starting in January is when those conversations started happening. So, very interesting. So first up, let's talk about the patterns. This is the Argyll pattern by Claire Lakewood using Quince & Co.'s Sparrow and Tern. And this was inspired by the lines of grout and mortar paired with red clay. So it is a tank top with a little tied in the front there. Here are a lot.
I like the outfit.
Yeah, it's very, very cute. And it has an interesting construction. So they wrote in the editor's note that they are working on increasing their sizing to be able to even more. I mean, I felt like they already had really good sizing, but it's getting even better. So there are 9 sizes in this issue for this pattern, all the way from 33 3/4 inches to 64-inch bust circumference, worn with 6-inch positive ease. I also appreciate that they put like the model's measurements and how tall she is and what size she's wearing. That is really awesome. So this is done in fingering weight yarn using US 3.25 mil needles. So it's worked flat beginning at the back lower hem, and then stitches are divided at the back neckline with upper left and upper right pieces worked separately, then rejoined at the front neck. And then after the front yoke is worked, live stitches are set aside and stitches are picked up along the left and right backside and knit inwards toward the middle front. And then it uses a 3-needle cast off. So, is there a picture? I thought there was a picture where it showed the back there. And then you can see that it goes sideways. Oh wait, that's the back too. So then it's sideways there. Really, really interesting construction on that one. Yeah. So that one is I like that one. Next up is Sanctuary by Stephanie Earp, done in BC Garn Bio Balance.
I like this one.
Yeah. So she looked to the ancient world for inspiration, specifically monumental domes and their opulent interior ornament.
Do you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Where is it?
There.
Opulent interior ornamentation of tile and gilt.
Yes. So here it is. Very, very pretty. Let's see if there's any more pictures. Yes. I really like that it's not just like I mean, you could wear it straight, but you could make it have that nice little curl up, kind of poof. So this is done in 6 sizes from 34.5 to 59-inch bust, worn with 4 to 7 inches of positive ease. It's done in a fingering 4-ply weight yarn using US 4's 3.5 mil and US 2's 2.75 mil needles. It's knit top down. The yoke is worked in the round and inside out. The working side will be the wrong side of the final garment.
Oh?
That's fun. I like that.
Sounds spicy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's very, very pretty. And great charts as always. Very clear. Okay, next up we have Rookwood, which is a shawl.
Rookwood.
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 Rook.
Rook.
Rook. Like a brook.
Rookwood. By Rachel Reese, done in Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co. Natural Sock. And let's see.
It's a triangle shawl.
It is. I'm looking for the inspiration info. It was named after American pottery, strongly associated with the arts and crafts movement of the late 19th century. It was known to help revive the handmade tile making in America and enhancing tile surfaces with sculpted textures and deep layers of glazed color. So there it is. Very, very pretty.
It's on the back.
Let me show these and then I'll show the back. Very nice. There it is on the back. So it's got sections of pattern. So this is in one size. It's 82 inches wide to 38.25 inches deep. It's done with a fingering 4-ply on US 3's 3.25 mil needles. It's worked flat in rows, but a circular needle is recommended to accommodate the high stitch count. It features alternating sections of garter stitch and seafoam lace, worked sideways beginning at one corner and increasing every wrong side row to create the triangular shape.
Triangular.
Oh, here's another picture. Very, very pretty. Very pretty.
Smells nice. As usual.
Yes. That's one of the first things I do when it arrives. This would, Dammy, could be really cool if you used 2 colorways and used one colorway for the garter and one colorway for the seafoam. That could be a fun way to use up. Let me see, how much yardage did it say?
Many.
It took 3 skeins of 100 grams to 437 yards. So it looks like you would need maybe about 150 grams of each color if you wanted to do it in 2 colorways. Okay, next up we have the Earthen cardigan by Amy. I always say it wrong.
Christophers.
It's either Christophers or Christophers. And it's been talked about on the Knit Girls podcast, and I can't remember which way, because they were saying it wrong. And then she taught at SSK, their summer retreat, and I can't remember which way it is.
I would assume it's Christophers. Like Christopherson.
Yeah, but it might not be. It may be Christopher's. Anyway, regardless, this was knit using the Farmer's Daughter fibers in the Juicy DK. And the color that she chose references the humble earth and clay that make up so many objects we use every day without a second thought. Some are rustic and indestructible, while others are opulent and highly fragile, but all spring forth from the ground beneath our feet. Very pretty.
I'll drink to that.
I love that they're putting more pictures in the magazine with their extended pages.
Hee pictures.
This detail on the sleeve is really pretty. Okay, so this is done in 9 sizes, from a 37-inch to 60 1/4 inch bust with 4 inches of positive ease. This is a DK weight yarn, and it's knit on US 6's 4 mil and US 5 3.75 mil needles. It's worked from the bottom up in one piece to the underarm. Fronts and back are divided and worked separately to the shoulder. The shoulders are shaped with short rows, and they are worked in the round from the cuff to the underarm and then sewn into the armholes. It's very pretty. That detail on the sleeve is really unique. Very pretty. All right, next up we have the OG by Sari Nordlund using Yoth Yarn's Best Friend. So this is a tank top. It's reversible in that you can wear it with the low back in the front or the scoop neck in front. So 2 different options there. Encrusted with ornamentation, every surface of the tank is covered in lace or entwining twisted stitches. She was inspired by the opulent tile, arches, and stone carvings in epic structures like Spain's Alhambra Palace in mind. So there it is. There's some more pictures. Okay, this comes in 7 sizes from 30-inch to 50 1/2 inch bust, worn with 0 to 2 inches of positive ease. It's knit using a light fingering 3-ply weight yarn on US 2.5 3 mil needles. It is a sleeveless top knitted from the bottom up in one piece. The body is worked in the round to the armholes, and the upper body is then worked flat. The top has an all-over pattern with traveling twisted stitches and simple scallop lace. And like I said, it's reversible. Oh, another thing that they mentioned in the editor's note is all of the patterns now have a larger text size, larger font size here in the magazine. Yes, very pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay, next we have the Faience. Faience by
Soraya Garcia.
Done in La Bien-Aimée Merino Sport. And this is a tunic. And it takes its name from ceramic technique for covering dark earthenware forms with a white glaze so that exquisitely detailed decorations can be painted on top. There we go. Very, very pretty. I love this.
This?
This detail here.
It's like a poncho.
It kind of is like a poncho. Let me tell you the details about it. So this comes in 5 sizes from 40 inches to 59.5-inch bust, worn with 10 inches of positive ease. The garment has a relaxed fit and can be worn successfully with 0 ease as pictured or significant positive ease. It's done in a sport weight yarn using US 3's 3.25 and US 4's 3.5 mil needles. It's worked flat in one piece, which I had trouble wrapping my mind around this at first. So the body is cast on at the back and worked back and forth to the shoulders. And then the fronts and backs are divided for left and right shoulders and neck shaping. The left and right fronts are worked flat separately, and then stitches are picked up from the center front edges and worked in twisted rib before joining the fronts down the center with a 3-needle cast off. And then stitches are then picked up from both sides and worked in twisted rib before joining them with a crochet slip stitch seam up to the armhole. That's really, really interesting technique. Mm-hmm. It's just gorgeous. Very, very beautiful. I love that they're having more and more patterns with really interesting construction in them. Okay, next up we have Minton by Isa. And the yarn is Maiwa Honest Yarn Linen Fingering. And so this is a crocheted bag pattern named after the historic pottery that was instrumental in reviving the medieval encaustic tile tradition during the Gothic revival of the 19th century. There it is. I love the tassels. Very, very pretty. Here's another picture. So this comes in one size. It is 15 3/4 inches deep and 21 1/4 inches wide. It's done in fingering 4-ply weight yarn using a 1.75 mil crochet hook. It's made up of 12 identical square motifs, and it uses a popcorn stitch.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to briefly show this. I have never seen a crochet chart before until I saw this. It is like blowing my mind.
That's wild.
What
does that mean?
I don't know because I don't crochet. I can do enough crochet to do a provisional cast on and to join blanket squares together. That's all I can do. This one is my favorite.
I like this one too.
This is...
Oh, why is there an L in there? Revo?
Sure.
It's not Revolks.
By...
You'll say Paquin?
Using Neighborhood Fiber Co. Studio Sock. Okay, it says, in the moors of deepest, darkest Yorkshire are the ruins of the...
I guess it's Revo.
Abbey, destroyed following Henry VIII?
Yeah.
Eighth's dissolution of the monasteries. Among the foundations are crumbling encaustic floor tiles in shades of green and brown. The encaustic tiles were simple constructions of colored clays, but they were still unimaginable luxuries to most, and the technique died out in Britain with the monasteries. I'm in love with this one. So pretty. Of course, if I made it, you know I would make it longer, because that is what I like. Okay, so this comes in 8 sizes from 33 inches to 54-inch bust, worn with 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. It's a fingering 4-ply weight yarn using US 3's 3.25 mil and US 2.5 3 mil needles. Okay, so it's knit flat, starting with the back from the top down, and then stitches are picked up along the back shoulders for the front that is worked flat from the top down. The sleeve stitches are picked up around the armhole and worked flat and shaped with short rows. Finally, the side seams are sewn using mattress stitch, and stitches are picked up around the neckline to knit the collar in the round.
That's wild.
I know. I need to take a finishing class. I need to do that. Okay. So it's knit using the intarsia method, using 3 colors per row. So the sample was worked cutting all 3 yarns after every stripe and joining the new yarn for the next stripe. As this produces a large number of ends to weave in, it's best to weave in ends as you go. But if you prefer to reduce the number of ends, you can do an alternative color pattern, and it lists the a couple of options of what to do for the color pattern. Yeah, gorgeous. I love it. I love it. Okay, next up we have the cover pattern. This is Tesserae by Marjorie Martin in Shibui Knits Pebble. Mosaics are among the oldest known forms of decoration, dating back thousands of years to ancient Mesopotamia. The tiny colored glass or ceramic pieces used to form the mosaics were called tesserae, and they function to create an image like the individual stitches in a knitting pattern form a finished garment. So she used a mosaic knitting technique that uses slip stitches to achieve a pattern that looks more woven than standard stockinette. And then there's a Latvian braid used to finish the mosaic panel. Very interesting. This one is just full of really interesting techniques. Okay, this is done in 9 sizes, from 43-inch to 75-inch bust, worn with 13 inches of positive ease. It uses a light fingering 3-ply weight yarn on US 3s 3.25 mil and US 2 2.75 mil. It's a circular yoke top knitted in one piece in the round from the top down. 2 Latvian braids run along the edges of the yoke to finish the neckline and the armholes. The body is worked in a mosaic pattern, alternating 2 colors every other row with a combination of slipped stitches. Very, very pretty. I really, really like it. All right, so that's all the patterns. Okay, as we mentioned that they talked about in the editor's note, there is this article called Learning and Unlearning, an interview with Emi Ito on cultural appropriation, which was very, very interesting. And she talks about the 3 S's test: source, significance / sacredness, and similarity, about whether you are taking something from someone else's culture. So it's a really, really, really interesting read. I would highly recommend reading through that. There is a tutorial by, do you know how to say that name?
Aruna Kunoraj.
On block printing. So it's a project bag, and it walks you through the steps of doing block printing. Here we go. And then, of course, we have all the patterns. And then, make sure I didn't miss anything, the recipe for this month, or this issue, this quarter, is maple bourbon fudge, which is a recipe by Rebecca Lawrence. I desperately need this. I should ask my friend to make it for me since I don't cook. And then we have the contributors and the yarn. And that is issue number
19.
No, 29.
Oh,
Why did I put 19?
probably mistyped.
I must have. I will put a note to fix that. My apologies. It is issue number 29. Summer 2019 of Pom Pom Quarterly. I give it a very high rating especially for the use of so many different techniques and constructions of garments. Very, very cool. So, you should check it out today. You can purchase it on their website or get the digital copy on Ravelry. All right, I think we're ready to move on to the next segment. We made it to the end of the show. Yay! I'm so glad we're back in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
I love you.
I don't think we have any announcements this week. Nope. Okay, so we would like to say a huge... I've got my water cup in my hand. Thank you. We love you guys so much, to everyone who supports the podcast, no matter how it is you do it. But especially a thank you to those who support us financially, because unfortunately it does cost money to do a podcast, including shipping out all of the spring owl prizes. That's just one part of the process and things that go along with the podcast. So if you would like to support the podcast financially, there's 3 ways you can do that. First is Patreon, which is a site where you pledge a certain amount a month to your favorite creative, and you earn rewards based on that. I just did Patreon rewards. I believe it was on Wednesday that I did them. So if you were looking for a reward coming to you, check your Patreon messages or watch your mailbox for coming prize. A reward, I mean. Dammy, if somebody's interested in learning more about Patreon or wants to sign up, where should they go?
Patreon.com/geekygirlsknit.
What's another way?
There's a PayPal button in the sidebar of our website if you would like to make a one-time donation.
And we are Amazon.com, .co.uk, and .ca affiliates. If you're going to shop on Amazon, if you go to our website first, click on the link or the image in the sidebar or at the bottom of the show notes, and then shop as normal, and then we'll earn a little bit of money back based on what you purchase. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it's a great way to support the podcast by doing something you would be doing anyway. Dammy, why don't you tell them where they can find us online?
You can find us at geekygirlsknit.com. There are links to everywhere else we are online: YouTube, iTunes, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Yes, and with that, we're going to tell you goodbye. We will be back on schedule next week to record on Thursday and release on Friday. But until then, we hope that you have a great weekend, because this is coming out on Saturday. So we hope you have a great weekend and that your start to summer is going well. Happy knitting, crocheting, weaving, spinning, stitching, whatever craft you're doing. We hope you enjoy it, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Pinky, are you here to tell us who won prizes?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about Dammy being home? Are you glad that Dammy's home?
No.
Okay. Her picks me up too much. Her picks me up too much. Her wants so many cuddles. So many cuddles.
You in a soft blankie right now?
Are you rolling your eyes at Dammy? Yeah, you are, aren't you? You're like, I'm putting up with this, but I'm not happy about it.
Stinky breath. You need to brush your teeth before we take you to the VET.
Oh, yeah. VET visit next week. Did she have fish yesterday?
I don't know. I think she had beef. No,
Beef.
not beef, something. It looked like beef.
Oh. Okay, can you say goodbye, Pinky? Okay, see you next week, people. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, people. Bye-bye, people. Happy knitting.